Hello, hello, amazing ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward's Ear here. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you around the world, be it you here live or watching the recording, but for coming to this legendary Boss Ladies live stream. Now, give you some context, we run this every month, and we have a massive mix of ladies who join us as panelists to talk about key amazing ideas to help you win big in your own unique way. So, I just want to say a big thank you. If you just come in live, hit that like, share, comment, feel free to say hello. And also, I've got my beautiful mobile phone here, and I'm actually keeping track of your comments on LinkedIn. So just want to say a big thank you for coming. I'm just excited to have you all here. Now, first things first, I'm showing you what it looks like. This is what it looks like on my phone. You can see me, about 10-second delay on my phone, so it's all working beautifully. And I just want to say, like, share, comment, say hello. Now, while we wait for our panelists, and I'm sure they're on their way, today's topic is building supportive networks. And I deal with this topic all the time. Interestingly, majority of our clients in our business are women. I work with women all the time. We're a female-friendly business, and all the time I'm talking to amazing women who are out to build their own supportive business networks. It's very, very cool. And I'll tell you what we're going to look at today. And I'm going to give you my thoughts until one of our panelists, some of our panelists show up. A lot of them can't make it today, actually. But I want to tell you what I think until they show up. But what we're going to look at is, why on earth do we want a network? That's point number one. Number two, how to make friends. This might sound a bit weird, but not everyone knows how to make friends. Number three is how to move on from situations that aren't working out for us. And oh my God, I've just seen come into the studio the amazing Christina Davey. Friends, let's give it up for Christina Davey. Christina Davey, whoa, how you doing, Christina Davey? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy Saturday to everyone. What a great topic. I love this. I'm so passionate about, community and connection. I'm so happy that you have decided on this topic. I think it's so important, especially after COVID, isn't it?
Oh, here. And it's just your lucky day, Christina. I was just busy saying to our fans across the world, most of our panelists aren't making it today. So I think today might have another one come in, but today might be the Christina Davey and Edward's Ear show. Are you looking forward for that one?
Absolutely, 100%. Well, what better people than than us to talk about it, since we are, building communities around us all the time. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. Now, to launch into it, to give some context, friends, Christina Davey is a great friend of ours, based in Sydney, Australia, where we live. Travel the world. She is a relationship and dating coach, has hundreds of clients and helps lots of people. And interestingly, yesterday we ran our business networking meetup at Novotel Sydney on Darling Harbour, and Christina ran the social mixer afterwards, which is all about building supportive networks. What happened last night? Did people hook up? Did they do business? What crazy stuff went down?
It was really good. It was such a great buzz, people connecting. Like, I got some really great feedback. Everyone was making new friends and discovering, common like interests as well. And the whole idea was like, after, the lovely, uh, business conversation so intense that it was happening at the business network, that you're hosting, you and Lassie are hosting. It was really nice to kind of like just like just relax into a more social, what kind of music, like what movies, what events do you go to, and just kind of lean more towards, hey, I'm a human being outside the business persona. I'm also a person, with likes and dislikes, and let's just connect over, what we like.
And yeah, heaps of people I noticed, because just to, for the sake of the audience, a bit of trivia for you all in building supportive networks. We've run for years a lot of Zooms and face-to-face events, and for about 6-7 years we've run our face-to-face meetup at Novotel Darling Harbour in Sydney. Interestingly, your meetup afterwards used to be a dating meetup, but everyone came back to you and said, Christina Davey, we don't want a dating meetup. We just want a meetup where we become friends and network with each other. Tell us more about your journey. Because I think that journey tells us a lot about how people think and what they want.
Well, because I'm a breakup dating and relationship coach, I have a lot of people coming up to me to match them with others. Hey, can you find me a person? And I was like, well, no, not really. It's not exactly what I do. Because you see, I think that you can find a person and be terrible at relationships. and
Yeah.
screw it up. You can literally meet your soulmate and not knowing sometimes, because of your own self-sabotage techniques. So then what I thought is like, well, what about if I put together an event for single people? But then people were coming, and there was there was a bit like they were shy,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be looking desperate, that I'm desperate for love, or I'm like, this is not about this. It's about creating opportunities to
Yeah.
meet someone. You're saying, hey, I'm open. Like, come on, let's just get to know each other, because this is what dating is. We're just getting to know each other, right? Before we enter an exclusive relationship.
Yeah.
And then I had all these people that were like, well, I want to stay too, but I can't because I'm not single, right? And I was like, okay, well then we even had people walking by, at the venue, that were like, hey, what's this? This is great. I want to come too. And I was like, you can't really, because you're not single, So, so then I thought, you know what? How about we just open it to everyone? Because ultimately, this is about connecting. This is about making friends. This is about being social, relaxing, just like let your hair down. And why not meet a significant other in the process?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. It's a great story. And just checking with our fans, welcome to Boss Lady Summit. It's the Christina, Davey and Ed show today. If you come in, please like, share, comment. We've got like 12 panelists, and Karen Clark's busy flying to New Zealand right now, so she definitely won't be on the live stream. So it's going to be probably Christina and me today. Now, it's interesting because I found that fascinating, and bringing it back to our topic, it's just really good timing what happened yesterday in our live stream. The thing that I find fascinating is that you started running a dating meetup, and people just said, I want to come. Like, I'm not here to date. I want to make new friends. I want to build supportive networks. And to me, it showed me how the yearn that we all have to build relationships. And we're talking before about the lockdown years. You know what I mean? Like, the lockdown years really changed the culture of relationships. Tell us more about that, Christina.
I feel like everyone is so people are so willing to connect, and let's just talk about something. This is actually the perfect opportunity to talk about this subject. Our innate need to belong. I think sometimes we forget that here in Australia, many people come from different places.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't really have families. We don't really have a lot of friends sometimes, because we're so hooked into a routine, go to work or business and come home, take care of the kids. And so I think life is so busy now. We are exposed to so many things that we don't get to connect on a personal level, like energy wise, with like in someone's presence, right? So COVID really highlighted that, because we are so restricted for so long and isolated. It really brought it up in everyone's attention, right? That, well, hold on a second, I like to go out there. And with that, you get a sense of belonging as well, especially when you're not having a lot of friends, or like, I am part of Edward and Lassie Zia's community. I am part of, Luke Hawkins' community. And with that comes a sense of feeling supported, love. You get some significance out of it. You are important to someone, right? And sometimes we don't know how to create that. And if we lose our parents, if we don't talk to our siblings, then we kind of end up feeling alone. And it's quite depressive to be in that state, when we realize that, oh, it's just me I can count on. It's just me, that there's no one else but me, right? It's like, it brings you down a little bit. And I've been in that place after my divorce, when I only knew my husband's family, and I had like 2-3 friends, and I was like, wow, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to do? Young single mother, or with young kids. I'm like, how am I going to survive here without anybody, right?
And just on that note, Christina, I think this would be fascinating for our audience. And, thank you for revealing that. When you're at sort of the bottom of the hero's journey, you would say, or the heroine's journey, yes, and you're female, right? How did you do it? How did you go from the divorced single mother who didn't know anyone to becoming like a massive community lead and meetup leader? How to do it?
Because I was so I wasn't conscious of it at the time, but I was so connection driven. Then I developed this natural, easy way of making friends. Right. So everyone I will go, I'll just be, hey, you want to stay in touch? Exactly like how we do it at your, right? at your, that's what I love about your meetup, your business community, is that people are open to stay connected, right? And I'll be like, hey, you want to stay in touch? Let's just add each other on social media. What's your phone number? And then I'll just message and call. I will invite people for Easter. I'll have a party, and I'll invite someone that I just met recently. The whole stranger danger was not really a thing for me. It's just like,
if you're lonely and you've got no friends, it's dangerous, but you got nothing. In a way, you got nothing to lose, right?
I think that was pretty much me. And I was like, hey, I'm having a party at my place, Halloween party, Easter party, Christmas party, whatever. You want to come? And one by one, then I'll meet one person who knows someone else.
Gotcha.
And then I'll go to their parties or go out with them, and so on. And I really developed this really easy way of making friends, and it served me really, really well in life, and especially here in Australia, where, as I said, I only knew like 2 people. And when I was very lucky that I kept in touch with my ex-husband's family for a long time. So I had some support, but that was something that, my sister told me. She said, you have this ability to just bring people together. And it kind of stayed with me. And then when I, decided to do this, what is called now Sydney Social Connections Group, it was exactly about that. It was about, let's bring people together. Let's just support one another. Let's just connect. Let's make each other feel good. Let's give each other a hug.
Yeah. Yeah. Or more, depending on how the evening goes, or more.
Yeah. Have you experienced that? Like, have you, had some loneliness in your life, some point in your life when you felt like, what the hell am I doing?
Absolutely. I'll use a good recent example of it. This is one of the things that motivated to start running meetups. And just as a segue for everyone out there, if you want to build supportive networks and you don't know many people, you don't know the right people, go to your local meetup. So pretty much in every city, every decent city across the world, there are meetup groups. People run free networking groups, free social groups. They're a perfect place to go to build supportive networks. And in saying that, what fed into me in starting my own meetup group was 2 reasons. I had 2 factors driving me. One was money, like, hey, I want to meet more people to build my network and get clients. And the second thing was driving me was everything you just said, right? In terms of, hey, I don't know, I'm not from Sydney originally. I don't know many people. I feel a bit lonely. I feel a bit isolated. I don't have the supportive network I need to create the life that I want. Because interestingly enough, and I just want to say, I want to thank everyone watching and thank you all for your support. Year on year, we're signing up 3. Oh, there we go. Lost Christina Davey, and I'll just continue till she comes back. She's got a bit of funny internet. Bit of trivia. Christina Davey lives on the Greater Sydney, and her internet drops out. So whoever thought in such a big city like this, the internet would drop out? I was just telling everyone about how you live in Greater Western Sydney and your internet dies. Anyway, not your fault. But I was just going to say, though, that's what drove me, because I felt really, isolated. And it's like, I need a bigger network to create the life I want. And interestingly, we're signing up 3 times the amount of clients weekly than we did a year ago. And that's pretty much because of our network is bigger. We've got this massive network, and money's part of it again. I always bring it up for money, but the other side of it as well that I think is so critical is, it's great making like-minded friends. And I think meetups are a great way of doing this. Tell us a bit more about the different meetups and events you've seen around the place, Christina.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's so important to connect, with people who think like you, that they have the same sort of belief system as you as well, right? Because that's when you feel accepted, you feel like you belong, you feel important, you feel like you and you can grow together as well, right? So it's not just the one thing. There's like many things, right? So I think understanding what is it that you like, especially like after a divorce, after some major, after you lose your parents, like how
Yeah.
hard is to lose your parents? You kind of lose a sense of who you are, like who am I without this family? Who am I without, being this wife or this husband or the mother or the father or whatever. So I think understanding who you are, and that's why it's really good to work with the coach. And you have worked with the coach, I have worked with many coaches as well, and just to get a sense of who you are, and then based on that choose the communities that resonate with you, because you can choose a community that's they value something completely different, and they actually make you feel what
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly the opposite of what you want. Like you don't fit, you're not good enough. I don't know, you feel like an imposter, right? If you feel like an imposter, there's like you're either in the wrong community
Yeah.
or you have some negative thoughts about yourself that are preventing you from being
I
seen.
got an amusing one for you. You're gonna laugh at me on this one. So a long time ago, I'm in my mid-40s now. Here I am, 50 years ago. So I've always been quite politically active, and originally, this is back in the day before things went sort of crazy in politics. I used to be quite left-leaning. So I used to be, for example, in the Australian Labor Party, and I used to be sort of involved in the Australian Greens Party. And what was fascinating, this is in Hobart when I was there. And what happened was I once went to sort of a Labor Green, sort of a lefty party meeting, and I was literally I was the pariah of the room, right? I had a friend invite me who was really cool, but I was exactly that. I was basically Count Dracula standing at the blood bank. Everyone was not like. I even look different. Like it's sort of like even though we're speaking English, I was on a different level to these people, right? It just didn't work, and a lot of them actually put me down. I was much less outspoken in those days. A lot of them actually put me down and had a lot of snide remarks at me. And then what happened was about a week later, I met friends from the right wing Liberal Party, and I felt like I was at home hanging out with friends. I'm like, these are the guys that I fit in with. And it was
Yeah.
fascinating because it was in a very short space of time. I went from one community who basically did not like me and didn't want me around to a community which just loved me and just got right behind me. And I remember going from having no supportive network to feeling sort of depressed and flat and questioning myself to having this instant buzz of life, which is like a week. It was just like a week that it absolutely transformed the way I feel. And I think you bring up a good point because I think a lot of, and to any of those watching, feel free to share your experiences, like, share, comment, say hello. But I think what happens to a lot of people, and me included, is you may not know anyone, or you know people that don't really like you, right? And it's sort of like, it's like you're surrounded by everyone who kind of hates you, and it's like, and then you kind of, a bit like a video game, you sort of got to start exploring the map to find new friends and people. And sounds like we've both been there, Christina.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like it's the imposter syndrome. It's like very real for so many people, and it happens because we are, as we are transitioning from, let's just say we are at this table with these people, and this happens a lot with my clients. Sometimes. In people who are doing personal development, right? So you're sitting at this table with these people. And then you're changing your belief system, or you're changing who you are, and you start seeing life in a different way. And then out of a sudden you feel like, I can't really connect with these people here anymore. And you're like, what's wrong? Like nobody likes me anymore. Out of a sudden, your conversations, you feel like you're always butting heads with everyone. And you're like, nobody loves me. Nobody wants to be with me. Nobody wants to, why I'm having all these conflicts, right?
Yeah.
And all that's happening is that if you were fitting in before and now all of a sudden you're not fitting in, it's because you have changed. And you're sitting at the same table with people who are thinking different, like how you used to, right? Yeah. But because you change now, you don't fit anymore. So all of a sudden you're going to feel alone. Yeah. So the best thing to do right now is like, all right, you look around and you're like, I'm noticing a lot of other tables around.
Yeah.
Which table would feed me?
Yeah.
Right? Which table will feed me? Which community will feed me? And you got to really be willing to have the courage to sit at the table a little bit to see if it fits you or not. Right? And if it doesn't fit you, you can always leave. But so many people. Hi, Pauline. Great to see you, darling.
Yeah, we got Pauline with us. So, quick segue. Isn't just so you know, friends, we've got the amazing Pauline Orlo who said hello. Christina Davey, I love Pauline Orlo. You love her too, don't you? And why do we love Pauline so much?
Absolutely, because she's so kind and caring. Like, she always has time for everyone. You know, she is so outgoing. No matter how many challenges she's going through, you know, she's always having a kind word for someone. She's always showing up, you know, supportive for someone. So I love Pauline. She's just awesome.
Yeah, I can say this. I imagine if Pauline ever got shot or hit by a car and she's dying, she'd be busy trying to look after other people while she's dying. She's that sort of lady, right? She's such a caring lady. It's like on the plane, she would suffocate putting the mask on the person next to her. She's that awesome.
Yeah, totally. You pretty much describe Pauline.
I think she left, but Pauline, if you're hearing the recording, we love you, Pauline. And Pauline's a great friend of ours. Connect with her on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I haven't seen Pauline forever, by the way. But yeah, that's interesting. I love what you're saying, and you've got me thinking about, you know, again, the topic today on this Boss Lady Summit, we're talking about building supportive networks. And I think the obvious question is, why do you want to network? And who do you want to network with? Who do you want to, because at the end of the day, who you choose to surround yourself by will determine where the storyline goes and whether you win or not. Tell us more about that, Christina Davey.
Oh, yes. You just remind me. I had my sister visiting many years ago, and she told me.
From Romania?
Yes. And she said, do you realize that many of the people that you are hanging out with, you know, she said, they're not really success driven. They're not really, you know, like they're focusing a lot on the problem, or they're not working, or they're not, because that was in my darkest time before I started this journey. And, you know, I hit rock bottom after my divorce and a toxic relationship. And she said, like, I'm looking around you and I don't know, like something is odd, and I couldn't get it, you know. I was like kind of triggered when she said that. I was like, what do you mean? Everyone around me is caring and loving. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I was hanging out with a lot of people that were focusing on problems and talking about problems and not really looking for solutions and really come from an empowering sort of place, you know, to solve the problem. Let's just, hey, find solutions and let's just fix it and let's just move up. Let's just set some goals. Let's just have a direction in our life. Let's just move from here, because this is like not this table. It sucks. It's something painful table. Like, I don't want to be at this table anymore, right? And I didn't realize that, you know, I really needed to get out of that and go to move at a table where people were more focused on solutions. People were more focused on like how we can really get what we want.
So just in that, so as the example, this is a great unpack, Christina. So you said, at some point you said, I'm done with these people. Like, you know what? I don't fit in here. I'm going to, metaphorically speaking, I'm going to get up off the table and find something that's more me. Is that a fair way of looking at it?
Yeah, pretty much. And not so much about like I'm done with these people necessarily. It's just that, hey, I want to welcome, you know, more of where I'm here, you know, like where I am and how I'm feeling and what's important to me. I'm just going to welcome and give more time and energy to, you know, the direction I'm going towards. Because sometimes, you know, like sometimes you have family, or you like, you know, with people that are focusing a lot on the problem, and, you know, you're still part of that family, so to speak, as well. Like you can't really just ditch them, you know. It's like, you know, you come across them or at work, or but you just welcome more and connect with more of the people that are like you and going in the same direction. And when you do, then you find a partner that way too, because most of the time we can't find a partner because we sit at this table with these people that they're focusing on the problem and complain about all men are awful and all women just want money.
We've heard all that. It's funny, just I know we're talking more networking, but just talking this funny relationship clip for the moment. I know I don't want to talk too much relationships because we're being more general here. But on a funny note, I hear this all the time. Again, we got hundreds of clients, we got thousands of people in our meetups and everything. So I talk to lots of people all the time, and I'll meet men literally in the same room, one after the other. Some man will approach me saying, "All women are this, all women are that. I can't find the right one." Then about 45 seconds later, a woman will approach me saying, "All men are this, all men are that. I can't meet the right one." And then it makes you think, hang on, I don't think women or men are the problem. I think the person in the mirror is the problem. Right? I think the person in the mirror is the one with the issues that could be projecting a little bit too much. The moment someone says all X people are X, Y, Z, I just hear projection. I'm like, ooh, be careful where this conversation goes. What do you think on that one? Projection and those horrible generalizations that people make.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. How we see the world is, how it's going to make us feel, and it's going to influence, what we're going to do next. So it's hard sometimes to, I remember going to a doctor.
Hello, Lisa.
Hey, we love you, Lisa. How are you, darling? Good to see you. Sending lots of love. And going to this doctor, and he didn't show up in a way that I wanted him to show up, and I was really mad. I left from there being all angry and like,
you're all angry, you've been let down, this person's wrong and I'm correct, and my life wasn't for this person, my life would be awesome. Yeah, I've done that many times. It's not good.
Yeah. So I'm all complaining. I'm gonna put a bad review.
Yeah.
2 days later, I had that happening to me, and I'm having this ball moment. I'm like, oh, that's my vibration at the moment. That's what I'm at, right? So like, hold on a second. Can I understand? Can I look behind what I'm feeling, and can I understand what's been happening? Because all that's going to do is going to help us connect with someone else, coming from a more of a compassionate sort of understanding vibe. Is going to allow us to connect with more understanding and compassionate people.
Yeah.
Talking about, networking and connecting.
I remember in my mid-20s, this is sort of post my military days, and I was sort of, left the government, I was medical discharge injured, left the government, I'm sort of building my new life, right? And it's sort of a new world because I've been pretty institutionalized for years, being in the foster system and the government, all that. And I remember I did a lot of postgraduate business studies, and I did a lot of education, and I remember getting, Rich, I'm showing my age here. He was big in the 90s. Remember Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad author? Not as big as he used to be, but he was massive in the 90s. I'm showing my age now, right? And he had this great section about life. There's more philosophy here, that you get back what you put out. And I remember Robert Kiyosaki told the funniest story, and bring it back to supportive networks, is that if you walk up to someone and you smile at them, what will they probably do?
Smile back.
Probably. If you walk up to someone and punch them in the face, what will they probably do? Get whacked, right? And I realized, I think I'm a bit of the problem because, and this is my fault, I'm saying this with shame and honesty, is that I was holding on to a lot of negative emotions and anger from years past, and I was projecting that onto people. Yeah. And I realized very quickly, hang on, I've dealt with some not very nice people, but I'm actually the one stopping me from building networks. I'm projecting this mean vibe. And it was funny, it's funny what you said. I just read this passage, I instantly changed, instantly penny dropped. And the next day I started making all these cool new friends. And it's like, it turns out I was the issue. Tell us more about that, Christina, that sort of realization.
100%. Well, like in anything, like business, relationships, health, I think when what you believe you experience, right? you can't, and it's going to stop you from network as well. Like your own thoughts, your own projections are going to stop you. Like there are a lot of people that don't come at a networking business, a business networking event, right? Because they feel out of place. Or, oh, I love this one. I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
And I can't, like, it's not my thing. And I'm like, well, what do you have to believe about yourself as an introvert that's stopping you from creating something that's innate in you? We are social beings. We are not meant to live alone. We are not meant to be by ourselves necessarily. We have needs, okay? Needs to be seen, heard, belong, express, feel accepted. So these are needs, like they're real and they're ours, and everybody has them. And some of them, they deny their needs, right? They're like, I don't have this need. Bullshit.
I don't need anyone. I can do this. My attitude was, I don't need anyone. I can do this by myself. And I won't swear, of course, but like F everyone. I had a lot of anger built up that I was just projecting onto the world around me.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard to fit in a community, because if you don't need anyone, you're gonna show up like, whatever, and nobody's gonna feel really good around you. So then you're not going to probably fit in a community, right? But understanding, well, how is it going to benefit me, and changing your associations about it as well, right? Changing your associations about being in a community, and again, being in the right community is going to lift you up. It's going to lift you up. Like, I have a former client of mine that returned to church. She had different beliefs, and then she returned to church, and I was like, great, because she felt supported. Yeah, she felt like, she said, no, I'm changing my belief system. I'm like, great, if it works for you, change the table, right? That's exactly what I said. Go and connect with those people that you feel aligned with, that make you feel at home, make you feel like you belong. And it's just gonna be great for everybody, like, it's just the more. So this is what I was going to say, that if we deny our needs, we are social beings. We are meant to, meet our needs, not just through ourselves, but through others as well. When we understand that, we are more accepting that it's okay for us to reach out to others. It's okay. And people just expect others to come to them because they have fear of rejection, right? Fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. So I'm going to sit here. I see this at the meetups as well. People that just sit in one spot and they don't move. And I'm like, all right, so this is a great strategy. How it's working out for you. People come to you, right? But you might get one or two people, right? But if you go out there and initiate and connect, you're going to have 15 people versus 2. So now all of a sudden, if you're single and you're looking for the right partner, but you just sit here and you're not doing anything to create opportunities, for example, right? You're going to be like, there's no good women out there and no good men out there, because I'm just going to sit here and let them come to me, this 1 or 2 that are coming, instead of me getting out there and connecting with the 15 that I want and see who's fitting in.
Exactly. Now, on that note, and I want to ask this question, and just want to check in with our viewers as well. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate you watching us live on the recording. Smash that like, share, comment. Feel free to say hello. Connect with Christina Davey as well. Amazing lady from Sydney, Australia. Formerly a Romanian, great Romanian lady. Now, I was going to ask you, the question I want to sort of focus on now is, how do we identify... But more, how do we find the supportive networks that we want? So if, let's say our life is where we are. We might be happy, sad, or meh about it. How do we find those networks to create the life that we want? Give us some commentary on that one, Christina Davey.
I think the easiest answer is trial and error. Like, you got to put yourself out there and be willing to put yourself out there and try what fits in.
Yeah.
But I mean, ideally, do you know yourself? Do you understand yourself? Who are you?
Yeah.
What's bringing you the most amount of joy? Right? Like, do you have that clarity? Do you have that, like, this is why I'm doing the Sydney social connection group and event. It's and your networking group as well. It's connecting like-minded people.
Yeah.
It's a certain category of people, right? You could have single mothers. If I'm a single mother, oh my God, that was a blessing. When I gave birth, I had no idea. Coming from Romania, I had no idea that, I should connect with other mothers who go to the same thing. There was no concept like that. I didn't know. And I was here in Australia and I gave birth and they connected me with a community of single mothers. And it was such a blessing to go to the same stuff, joy, milestones, painful nights, sleepless nights with other women who are going through the same stuff as me. It made me feel understood. It made me feel like I'm not the only one. There's nothing wrong with me, right? So if you are a pet lover,
I like what you just said there because I can relate to that. Because when you said there's something wrong with me, when I was thinking at different parts of my life, at places when I was quite lonely and isolated, at times it's easy to think there's something wrong with you. And I remember really buying into that. Hang on. Everyone around me is saying all this bad stuff to me. I feel unhappy. My life sucks. My life sucks. My life sucks as an SUCKS. What is wrong with me? And I think you're right. I think when we start feeling there's something wrong with us, that's basically the first paver in the road to hell. I think it's a very dark place we can go down.
Oh, 100%, because it will focus us. So the moment, like asking, Tony Robbins says is like, the power, talks about the power of a question on what you asking yourself, you're going to focus on. And if you ask yourself what is wrong with me, you're going to find it.
This is why I'm a loser. Here's a list of why I'm a loser. Maybe I should stick it on the wall so I can read it every day and remind myself of why I'm a loser.
Yeah. So that's going to prevent me from like going anywhere to connect in any community, because now I don't want people to see what's wrong with me. It's not I'm seeing what's wrong with me. What about if they're going to find out? So there's a lot of fear of judgment. And now I'm going to just stay at home and hide.
Yeah.
So they don't find out. It's just my big secret. And I have this problem and nobody has such a big problem like me. And I'm going to hold on to this problem because it makes me feel significant. And it makes me feel like, I'm connecting with myself with this problem. Or
I'm a victim.
Nobody gets me. Nobody understands. Yeah, nobody understands them. And I don't want to be like, I'm, saying this in a funny way, but like this can be quite real. I went through it. Yeah. So
not funny
that
at all.
was very real to me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was very real to me, but I realized it was not serving me. And then I was like, hold on a second. I don't want to have this bullshit anymore. I want something different. And then I got a coach who taught me how to, how to get there. And I don't have that problem anymore. And now I'm totally okay to build communities
Well, you run a massive community. You're now the community leader. Because what I found fascinating, and again, great timing with our meetups yesterday. So perfect timing with this live stream. Thanks for watching, by the way, friends. You're awesome. Like, share, comment. One of the biggest things that I find fascinating is that I remember being the lone. It was I came to Sydney like yourself, right? I'm not from Sydney. Tell by the accent. So I came to Sydney, started my new life here. And I remember what it's like being on the outer, breaking into a city. And yesterday, I met at least 10 people who are like that. They've just come to Sydney, or exactly what you said. A few women I met, hey, I just got recently divorced. I don't know anyone. I'm re-emerging. I've got this new business and life to begin. In fact, actually, one of our clients who's signing on, this great, I bring her today, great lady. She got divorced, and when we met originally, she was telling me about how much, her life sucks. This time she dragged along her new good-looking boyfriend, and she was showing him off. So it was kind of like she went from sort of the first time I met her being quite sort of shy and bashful, and like, check out there's literally this tall, handsome, 6 feet tall Latino guy. So she's doing really well now. So it's kind of funny.
Good. Yeah. Then that's, ultimately it's about becoming courageous to really take the first step into creating what you want. Like you gotta become clear in what you want first. some people don't have clarity about what they want, and and sometimes again, there's a lot of fear that we try to avoid. And when it comes to connecting or being part of a community or a network, usually it's rejection, what they're going to think of me, which is fear of judgment, and fear of being seen, like, oh, I'm weak, or I'm vulnerable, or fear of being hurt. That's very real as well. I'm not going to let any people in because they might hurt me. That's a very successful way of being lonely for the rest of your life.
So I'm not going to let great strategy. It's like, I'm not going to let anyone in because I'm afraid of people hurting me. That's a great way of missing out on the partner of your dreams, or talking money, missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
You're spot on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna connect with others because I have fear of success or failure in my business. I don't want them to know exactly what I'm going through. So therefore, I'm just going to keep, a wall between me and them, and just really, keep the distance just to see what they are doing first. And then, or my favorite, I'm gonna let these other people jump to hoops to prove themselves to me before I'm lowering my walls to connect with them. And this comes on any professional
just jumping in there. I got to, sorry, you obviously struck a chord. I've known so many men, women, whatever, right? I've known so many people in life that have that sort of viewpoint where it's like, well, you got to prove to me, you got to prove to me that you're worthy of talking to me. And they'll put up basically all these weird rituals and rules, be it relationship or friendship or business, in basically to talk to me. You got to jump through all these hoops. But you know what I find is very funny about those sort of people? The moment you do it back to them, they're not happy. So the moment so they're okay in doing that to everyone else. But the moment the shoe's on the other foot, they're not happy. They're throwing their PC out the window and everything. I think you make a good point, and I've been guilty of this, and I say this, apologetically. I remember there was a point in my life where I was holding on to so much anger and hurt from my past, and I was just projecting that onto good people. I was pushing really good people away, and I realized I was the problem. It was very, very scary realizing I was the problem, but also liberating. Because when I realized, hang on, my own negative thinking is pushing away wonderful people and destroying supportive relationships. It was that Robert Kiyosaki verse that got me. You smile at someone, what are they going to do back to you? Probably smile. If you punch someone, what are they going to do back to you? Hit you over the head with a chair or something, right? So I think you're in the zone, Christina, and you've inspired me big time on many levels.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And likewise, you guys have been such a great support to me. I truly enjoy working with you and, being part of your community. And I brag to everyone about, and bring, all my friends and everybody I know in your community, because I think if you want to grow a business, if you want to, at any level you are at, you got to put yourself out there. You got to meet people.
Yeah. That's funny. Talking success. Again, obviously, I'm not talking money. It's just my focus. But talking, be it social success or financial success, everyone I know who's really successful, be it financially successful or they're socially successful, right? I know a lot of people. I don't know any loners that have made it big time, right? And I find it fascinating. The people I know, the wealthiest multi-millionaires I know, they all know tons of people. They've all got massive networks. And Josh Niven, our friend from Queensland who wears a sailor hat, right?
Yeah.
He makes this good point. I don't know where he ripped it off from, but it's a really good quote. He told me where he ripped it off from. He goes, success leaves clues. If you look at successful people, it's very easy to look at them and unpack why they're successful. And all the really successful people I know are really friendly. They know tons of people. They got heaps of friends. That's why they're successful. And I got to say, I love where you're going, Christina Davey. You've gone from a divorced single mom to being a community leader that knows everyone. And how's your man too? How's your handsome man going too, by the way? How's he doing?
Good. He's going through some health problems, but he's navigating that really well. And yeah, talking about connecting, we have some family coming over, some not what they're friends, but they feel like family coming over today.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's good. He's really good. And I remember what you were saying earlier. I remember struck a chord. I remember when I came here to Australia, and my ex-husband was telling me I was looking for a job, and he said, "Well, let's just spread the word, and let everyone know you're looking for a job, and whoever you talk to, just let them know." And I was like, I can't tell them I'm looking for a job. They're gonna know I don't have a job.
Okay, I get it.
And,
So your ex said, "Tell everyone you're looking for a job to get a job," but then you're like, "I don't want people to know that I'm unemployed." It's like, what the hell? I get that.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna tell them. So I wasn't reaching out to anyone because I didn't want them to know that I'm struggling to find a job, and then they're gonna judge me, and they're not gonna like me, and they're not gonna love me, and they're not gonna want me to. They're not gonna want to be friends with me anymore because it's bad to not have a job. So I had all these rules.
Means you're a loser, right? Or whatever BS talk is going
on. Yeah. And sometimes we don't understand how these rules that we have for ourselves, which are borrowed most of the time, because when we are born, we don't have any beliefs.
Yep.
We are born with no beliefs. We are a white canvas.
We get programmed by our environment.
That's right. And then these rules will prevent us not just from being part of building a great supportive network, but also will be in a way of achieving that success on whatever level it is that we want. Like success can mean so many things. And talking about success financially or in a business, for example, there are some people that are loners in their life, as personal life, right? But they are good at networking business-wise.
Yeah, there's a few.
As well, but they're not necessarily happy, fulfilled.
And I don't think there's many of them as well. Like bringing up that point, right? I've been sort of exploring this concept. I agree with you. Like you'll get some people who are loners and don't really have any networks, and for whatever reason, they found this level of financial success. 2 points, they've got a lot of other issues going on, which I agree with, right? But B, I don't think there's that many of them. And going back to sort of the theme of where I was going is in all what I've seen and experienced and the research I've seen, it's the people that know heaps of people that are way more likely to be more financially successful. Like if I talk probabilities, right? The more people you know, 100. Your probability of wealth increases.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree. Like that's why we want to, and that's why like it's okay. There's some people out there that they just like to help others and they have a bit of a problem receiving, right? But when we are in a community,
I used to be like that too.
Me too. I was just talking to someone this morning.
Open your heart, friends. Open your heart and put out the love and let all the love pour back in. That's all I can say as a guy who used to think like that. Sorry, Christina, please continue.
Yeah, so like it's okay for us to receive help too, right? In a community, in a supportive community, it's gotta be an exchange of energy. It can't just be one way, right? And sometimes it's just lack of awareness, right? It's just and there's that self-judgment, like, oh, if I receive support, that means I'm weak.
I used to think that too. I used to have this bit of a male ego, bit of I'll blame it on my Arab heritage, but no, it's really my fault. But I used to be very much, can't accept help. I gotta me. I gotta prove I've done it myself. And then I realized I'm a moron, right? I realized that I'm really dumb. It's like, hang on, it's a bit like, why would you fight a battle without your team? It's like, and that got me thinking from being a stupid moron who'll do it himself to being a team player. How can I work with better other people? And it's funny, you're calling out all my old behaviors that I'm really ashamed of. I love it, Christina Davey.
Yeah. And I'm really grateful that you got out of that, because we are ourselves we are role models for others. There's
Yeah.
always
Totally.
someone that's looking up to us and we might not even realize. And they are
Yeah.
coping, especially our kids, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Our
yeah.
kids, our siblings, so by us learning to receive, we can be a role model for others as well. And this is what a supportive network is about ultimately. And so it's not, you know, and I encourage everyone, like, once I discovered the power of networking with you, in your community, I just talk to everyone around me about, like, hey, come and Lassie and Edwards. Hey, come and just come and make some new friends. Come and, promote your business. Come and make some new contacts. Come and, if you're not putting yourself out there, you're staying the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True.
like we gotta really stop judging ourselves for our need of connecting and feeling supported, and networking. It's a great way to do that. That's why I started this community of social networking. You're doing the business networking,
There you go.
and I'm doing the social networking.
There you go. Now, I was just going to say, we're coming towards the end of the Boss Ladies Summit. Thank you for being our legendary solo panelists. It's funny with the Boss Ladies, sometimes we get a panel of 8, and sometimes we just get the lone Christina Davey wandering in, right? So it's been an absolute pleasure doing a deep dive with you today. Christina, just as we wind things up, just very quickly, tell us what you do professionally and how you help women and people. Just tell us what you do professionally in case anyone's interested.
Sure. I'm a breakup, dating, and relationship coach. I am super passionate about supporting single people find love, find the right person. I think it's very easy to, after you have a few abusive relationships or failed relationship or a divorce, right? It's really easy to retrieve, to turn inwards, to want to protect ourselves because we experience some trauma in our childhood, in our relationships. The thing is that we don't have to be victims of our trauma, right? We can acknowledge the trauma and grow from it, right? And I help people heal as well from those abusive relationships, understanding their love blocks. What is it that's really preventing them from feeling the way they want to feel, from networking, socially or business wise or career wise? What is it in the way? Because when we get awareness, what we do, we become empowered, because now we get a sense of who we are and the direction we are going. And I notice many people expect, dating to be just so easy and naturally happening. And the thing is that you're not jumping in the car and just start driving. There's a reason why they make you pass a test, get so many hours with an instructor, right? Not just by yourself, someone else. They're not telling you, hey, you have to have all these hours in a car by yourself, go and just drive and get the experience. No, they tell you, yes, go and drive with someone who sits next to you to guide you. And they're doing that because it's a much safer way, right? You can learn from this other person experience and skill because they have the experience of going through this. And they might have taught some others too if it's an instructor, right? So with dating, it's kind of the same thing. Yes, of course you can date by yourself, not having a dating coach in your pocket, but I don't know. Why would you?
Exactly. Easier, better, more. I think you're spot on there.
Yeah, and that's why I have, created a beautiful community and membership where people can actually join and have me literally, at a click of a button, like, hey, Christina, I'm dealing with this situation. I don't know what to do. What do you think?
Phones look similar to yours. Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think in that regard, again, we've been here talking about building supportive networks. If you're interested in the dating and relationships, speak to Christina Davey. Christina Davey, we love you. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to wind up shortly. And because there's only 2 panelists today, well, I'm the host of this, 1 panelist and me, so turn it into a legendary interview. What we're going to do is I'm going to give my closing thoughts, and then we're going to let Christina Davey give her closing thoughts, and we're going to finish up on that. Does it sound good, Christina Davey?
Sounds fantastic.
All right, friends. Now, my closing thoughts to all of you is ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are watching across the world, my big advice to you is really think through where your life is going. One, then think through the people you want to surround yourself by. Do you want a more social experience? Do you want a more business experience? Do you want to build yourself in a certain area? Do you want to leave a relationship, get into a relationship, or whatever? Think very carefully about what you want, because once you know what you want, you can then go after it. And as well, when it comes to building supportive networks, LinkedIn's fantastic, and also I love Meetup. So check out meetup.com. In most cities across the world, you've got heaps of social and business events. Find something that resonates with you, go and check it out and meet lots of people. And those are my closing thoughts. And in light of that, Christina Davey, over to you for your closing thoughts.
Well, I just think, if you want to connect with more people, you should just definitely go to Edward and Lasizia. They will connect you with those people. and if you want to, be more social, definitely come to, my community in Sydney, or reach out, and I could probably support you, or Edward can support you to, you have meetings in all the cities around Australia. Ultimately, we just got to start asking ourselves the right questions, the empowering questions that will support us be resourceful. How can I have more of what I want? Right? How can I have more love? How can I have more money? How can I have more success? How can I have a supportive, network around me? And when you ask yourself an empowering question, you're going to get an empowering answer.
Yeah. Right.
Because all is within us.
Well said. Friends, there we go. That is how the cookie crumbles today. And so I just want to say a big thank you for being part of our Boss Ladies Summit, Building Supportive Networks. All our panelists have been consolidated into the heroic Christina Davey. So there we go. So we had like 8 panelists last time. This time, Christina Davey's got the flag, which is why we love you. So big thank you.
Lucky me. Woo-hoo.
Pleasure. So friends, stay tuned for the next one. Also, too, please connect with wonderful Lassie as well, who's the architect of this all and put it all together. So big thank you. To our fans across the world, don't forget how awesome you are, how much we love you. Please reach out to Christina Davey and myself anytime. And Christina, on behalf of all of us, thank you for your time. I appreciate you giving up your Saturday for us, Christina.
It was great to be here. Thank you for having me. I look forward to the next one next month.
Stay awesome, everyone. Keep winning.